Hello everyone, JC Guzman here, the Spirit Facilitator, and welcome to another episode of Spirit Bits and Byte. The topic for today is death. It's a very highly misunderstood concept, but hopefully after this video you understand death a little better. Remember that we are energy, we are frequency, and we are vibration. And everything is energy. Now, over the centuries, cultures, people, traditions have attached many words to death. Some of the words are positive, some of them feel comfortable, but some don't. Let me give you just a few. They associate death with fear, with pain, with mystery, with heaven and hell, with judgment, with God. And I mean God in the way that people depict God by traditions in some religions. A male of a certain age, certain race, culture, complexion, and so on. Death is also linked to eternity. That may not be the case. I'll explain. In some cultures, it is even associated with cult. But let me begin. So my guides wanted me to take two different avenues, and they said, you're going to explain in very simple terms what that is not and what it is. Let me begin with what is not. Death is not the end of anything. Nothing ends. If something begins or continues, you don't end, nothing ends. It is not the transition into heaven and hell, because heaven and hell do not exist over there. You make your own heaven or your own hell right here on earth. Death is not, or you don't go into a courtroom where you sit in front of several individuals and a judge, God, to whom you're going to answer many questions, and then in the end, they're going to give you a final decision and assign you a place. Is not what it is. It is not a place for punishment or physical pain. And it is actually not painful. Dying is not painful. The pain people feel is the emotional pain or the physical pain that they feel in the body, in the conscious mind. And in the body, if you're sick, or if you have been in an accident, that kind of pain. It is not a place into darkness. Just because when we go to sleep, we close our eyes and all we see is black. Some people believe that when we die, we close our eyes and all we're going to see is black. It will stay black. And that is why some people may fear to die. I would, if I knew I'm going to open the door into a dark room and stay there forever, of course. We're only humans. Death is not a place where you're going to meet the bullies that you met in life, the co-workers that never liked you or you never liked, even your mother-in-law that you didn't get along with, or anyone. You will see him, but the experience will be a different one. Very different. And last, death does not occur in an instant, like people say and believe. Close your eyes, you're dead, you're gone. It's not what happens. On the other hand, death is a process that is not short. Death or dying may take a few minutes, a few hours, even weeks, and even longer. For instance, if you go into a coma, you are between worlds. So, death is a process, and as humans, we go through many processes in life. From the moment we're born until the time we move into childhood, then adolescence, then you become an adult, and so on. You always go through different processes that you choose to go through, like getting married. That's a big one. Or getting divorced. In either case, you succeed. Whether because you ended up with the person you want to be for the rest of your life, or because you got away from the person in a place. So the end of all these processes are successes. So is death. Let me explain further. The person who is about to die start taking a peek into the other world. She can see spirit. In some cases, they come and stand around the person who is about to die, and if they don't die, they explain the comfort they felt when they saw him, the love, the peace. So like I said, before we die, we go back and forth. If your process is quite long, like my mother's, then you're back and forth many times for a longer period of time. Let me explain. It took my mind days to go through this process because she didn't know I was a medium at the time, and she was highly sensitive. She always perceived spirit, but she couldn't understand. So when she was in the process, because of the work I do to help people in fluctuating between the physical and the spirit world, she saw me. And she thought, my son is now going to die. Why do I see him over here in the spirit world? Because I was working, I was doing things for others. So she was afraid. And she didn't want to die because she wanted to make sure that I didn't die, so she could go in peace. So in that case, the process took quite a while. It was painful actually, in several ways. Emotionally painful, especially. So as you see, the process lasts for a while, depending on the case. Unless you die in a car accident and you die immediately, then the process is pretty short, but still, you still don't go straight onto the other side. There's a period of transition because this person who died in an accident doesn't want to live, doesn't believe what happened. And in many cases, they believe that they're still alive. So they are attached to the body, to the place, to the people. So that you understand, it is a process. Now, Lastly, death is a big opportunity for many things. And I've never heard this until now when my guides gave it to me. Death is a big opportunity for many things I never had a chance to have. First, it is the opportunity to get rid of pain, physical and emotional pain. The same way a child, when he's born, goes through a process, but a painful process. Let me use a metaphor. The butterfly inside the cocoon. Before the child is born, is getting ready, growing, getting stronger, so strong so that he can have the strength to break the cocoon, and be born as a butterfly. In his case, he faces a lot of pain, physical pain. I'm not sure if emotional, but physical, because he has to do everything on his own to survive. He has to face new things, a new reality that is cold and is unknown, full of noise. That's why they cry. On the other hand, when you died, let's use the same metaphor. You're the butterfly inside the cocoon. But at the time of death, crossing over, you break the cocoon and you born as a butterfly. And when you break the cocoon, with the cocoon goes all the physical and emotional pain you went through in this life. And what you face after that will be just love, compassion, happiness, peace, and you name it. It is a big opportunity to forgive others, forgive yourself, send and receive unconditional love. Especially, it is an opportunity for the dead person to come back onto this plane and visit their loved ones. I believe that's an awesome opportunity. So that you understand, that is what death is. Everyone should be educated about death, because we all need to know it, so we can get a clear concept of what it is. Know what others made us believe, or culture, or religion, or family beliefs, and so on. It was my pleasure talking to you and sharing what my guides wanted me to do. See you the next time.